Welcome back. This is we should have had this a while ago, but how to self love, how to love yourself better. And we're going to have a little bit of Bible study today, so we're going to go through Psalms 2 to 3. In case you haven't read it after me reading Psalms 1, and we'll carry on from there and we'll end in prayer. I hope every last one of you has had a good weekend, good couple of days, good summertime, good whatever you may call it, whatever it may be for you. So I wrote down 5 topics. It may seem like we may be repeating. It may seem like you may be catching on to something that was already recorded. I just hope that whoever listens, watches, and sees this is able to get something from it rather than to not get anything at all. If you're feeling in a dark place, if you're feeling in a place that you can't find a way out of, if you find yourself feeling stuck or living in the dark and wanting to get out of it but not knowing how to, or just lonely, depressed, sad, feelings that we don't want to feel but we feel uncontrollably. And to deal with it, there's things we can do, but some people may not know which route to take or how to go about it. So I'm gonna do the best I can to help out whoever hears, sees, or listens to this message, reads, however this message comes out to you, whoever you are across the world, wherever you are. I welcome you with open arms, and I'm not a perfect being myself. Me acknowledging that nobody's perfect, but all we can do is try in a world full of darkness, chaos, and negative energy, evil, wickedness, and sin, and all of that. We have control over ourselves to do things in the nature of a light nature rather than a dark nature. So, that being said, I welcome you. Uh, I call you my night riders because you never know. Some people might be alive at night, like gargoyles. I'm more alive at nighttime. In the morning, I'm more of a somewhat of a being, but I am me nonetheless. I don't see myself higher than anybody. I don't see myself below anybody. I am an equal being. Sometimes I may feel as I'm worthless. Sometimes that's out of depression. But as a regular person, a regular being, and a person who only has the intention and means to live right, and do what's just rather than to live in the darkness, completely dark, and wanting to stay there and living in a life of sin or a life of wickedness. I don't want that for myself, and these are my attempts and steps at trying to live a different type of lifestyle and add better to the world rather than negativity, if that makes sense. Like, I don't promote violence, but to protect yourself, I do promote, if that makes sense, if that's clear. So, first part, because you're so important, whoever listens to this message, regardless of this, you're important nonetheless. You have a purpose. You're worth more than you may think you are worth to everybody around the world. So always know your self worth and always know that you are never worthless. Fight negativity with love and positivity. That's our first thing. The world may beat you down, the world may stump you out, the world may set you on fire, the world may shoot you in your heart, it may stab you in your heart, it may drown you underwater, but it's up to you to pull yourself out because you're not always going to have that at hand. So you need to learn how to balance. You need to learn how to balance and pull yourself out. You need to learn ways if you don't know none yourself. So, how I can tell you a few ways that work for me. Everything in my life may not be positive. Everything in my life may not be a good habit. What works for me, and I don't try to induce it, impose it, force it on anybody else. I don't tell somebody, hey, I do this, so you need to do it. That's not the type of person I am. I do what I do for my personal reasons, but it's what helps me to better myself while or make attempts at bettering myself when I'm in a place where I'm so far gone in the darkness that I can't pull myself out. Nobody else can pull me out. I'm just stuck in there. And it's so dark that I might not even seem like myself. That's what when I said nobody's perfect. I'm not a perfect being, but I am who I am, and I don't intend to live in a dark life. I don't want to live in a dark life. I don't want to live in an evil or wicked lifestyle. I want better for myself. I want better for the world. I want my family to be in a world where it's not dark but light. We don't live in a perfect world. We live in a world that has a mixture of everything in it. You're gonna go some places it's gonna be light. You're gonna go some places it's gonna be dark. You're gonna go in some places where it's completely evil. You're gonna go in some places where it's completely the opposite. God made everything. That is our creator. That is our shepherd. That is our shield. The Bible is a shield for us because it gives us the word of God, the knowledge, the wisdom, the things that we go through in life that we haven't even noticed it yet, that we don't even know the answers yet to, beforehand or after, during. They're in the Bible. So I try to continuously read it because it's knowledge, and they always say knowledge is power. So, with that being said, to fight negativity with love and positivity, the best thing you can do if somebody attempts to destroy you, whether it's destroy your character, destroy your emotions, destroy you as a whole entire person, you take that with a grain of salt because their words won't affect you physically, beneficially, financially. If a person doesn't like you, you don't let whatever that person feels depict how you are, how you're going to be, how the rest of your day is. Don't let anything that anybody who isn't in any type of range of addition or subtraction to your life have any type of relevance within. Because if you do, and it's not positive, it's going to bring you down. If it is positive, it's going to bring you up, but you're going to be relying on that person, relying on that thing, relying on that whatever it is that may have brought you up or down rather than left you balanced to basically pick you up or put you down. You're going to be expecting it. You're going to be ready for it. You're going to be waiting on it. Don't let that be a habit of yours. And I know it's hard to say sometimes, but it's better to make an attempt rather than to make no attempt at all. So that's one way to fight negativity with positive and love. Positivity and love. That's one way to not take it personal, to not let it determine who you are, to not let it deteriorate you. You have to live life in a manner of wanting to do good, wanting to be a good person, and not letting people who want the opposite or want to live the opposite way change how you want to live, because that is an effective tool against people. There's a lot of words for manipulation, gaslighting, and there's many more. Those are two I know off the bat, but I don't know everything in the world. But my brain is willing to be open to knowledge and learning and training myself to know the things that I don't, because the things that you don't know may scare you. The thing is, I guess the word that they call it in life is a fear of the unknown. And yeah, it's a scary thing because if you go somewhere you don't know what to expect, you don't know what the ending progress or whatever your progress may lead to in the end, you don't know how that may affect you. And that's something scary because as well as you don't know how it may affect you, you don't know how it may affect others around you. Examples could be you go to a concert with some friends and you get pulled over by the police, but you got a shitload of drugs in the car, and pardon my French. You have a ton of drugs in the car with your friends, but you're not acknowledging, you're not knowing of it, or you aren't, however it may go. And God's fate for you determines how that will end for you. You could all end up going to jail for it. One person confess up and say it's theirs and they do a ton of time in jail. Or you can be an attempt of being a saint and you take the charge for it, knowing that it has nothing to do with you. But you knowing that this person has 3 strikes, and if they get another strike, they're going for life. So if somebody else takes it, then it can be a first charge, whatever, court cases, whatever, probation, whatever, fees, restitutions, whatever. And that's not going to determine if a person is going to be good to you and look out for you and pay all the fees for you and do what a friend would do. Because I'll be honest with you, these days friends ain't really friends how they should be. So you can't, that's another thing. You shouldn't really depend on anybody to determine your fate or determine what the results of your life is going to be, whether positive nor negative. You have to be loving, upright, open arms, and open minded. Because if you're closed minded, you will literally have one way to look at things and you will always see it that way, and with no open opportunities to understand from different points of views. There's many points of views to look at things, but you have to decide which one you're going to choose. Nobody's telling you choose this way. Nobody's telling you choose that way. Some people may not. But at the end of the day, it's up to you how you decide to choose which route you will take. The proper actions to take, the proper words to say, the proper mindset to have when going into a certain area. Another example of that situation is you and your friends go to a concert. You don't say, let's say you don't get pulled over or whatever by the police, and that all that happens. Scratch that, throw that away. Now we're on example 2. You go there, your expectancy of it is to go there and have fun and make it back home in one piece. But God forbid, you go to that concert, and as we've seen in the world, that concert practically turns into a trip to hell because stuff starts to fall apart, people start to die, people get injured. There's an active shooter on the loose, and he's just upset at the world, so he wants to just let off rounds at everybody in every direction to hit whoever he can, as many as he can with as many bullets as he has. And God could decide your fate, whether you get hit with that bullet, or someone else gets hit with a bullet, or someone gets injured, and he gives you that path to save a life, whether somebody's shot or injured from whatever it could be. That's another situation, because God only gives us battles that we can handle. Sometimes we feel we can't, but it matters how you go into it and what mindset you have going into it. You can have the mindset as, I don't want to be a coward and just run away and just hope to God I make it home. I'd rather be somebody that saves a life from somebody doing evil, or unfortunate event under unfortunate circumstances happens to where it could affect you mentally. It could affect another person mentally. Somebody could be literally on their last swim of breath, and you can be the only one to save them because you have that pathway. That's you. You can either let it determine how you will, whether or not you do that or not, because you may not feel like you can, or if you tried and then you weren't able to. There's another thing that can affect your ability to see right from wrong, or see light from dark, or good from evil. You might feel like on one side, you might feel selfish, you might feel evil, you might feel conflicted, you might feel wrong, or you might feel, I did what I could, I tried, I hope that their soul made it to heaven instead of just at the crossroads sitting there waiting to go to hell. And I hope that all of their sins are forgiven and everything that they have done in life doesn't send them to the gates of hell, and God forgives them purely and wholeheartedly and loves them as He always loves us. That's another way. So that's one thing out the way. That's just examples of how you can fight positivity versus negativity with love and positivity. Another one, take everything with a grain of salt. Don't have any expectations. Don't expect anything from anybody, a person, a place, a thing. Don't expect no results. Open minded. That's how you have to be in life in order to not stress yourself out to the point where you fall yourself into a dark huddle. Because if you don't give yourself that credit to know that anything can happen, who am I to say that this is going to happen or that's going to happen? You have to take it all with a grain of salt, with no expectancies, open minded. That's another way you can care for yourself, because if you stress yourself out or you worry or you get anxiety, you get anxious about it all, and you only think the worst of things, as I once have, instead of acknowledging that anything can happen, and if it happens in the way that you didn't want it to, that's because it was either God's will. But still, that doesn't mean that it needs to affect you as much as it may have, or it might, or it should. It's up to you. Being open minded gives you the ability to be knowledgeable to many things rather than to be closed minded and only see one way. So give credit to whatever attempts you made. Don't discredit yourself. Have no expectancies from anybody, anything. Open minded. Don't judge it. Don't think worse when you can do way more with just thinking it's whatever. Whatever happens, happens. And if it happens, it was God's will for it to go that way. So take everything with a grain of salt. Don't have any expectancies. Do your best on whatever it is that you are working at. If you're working at bettering yourself, do your best at bettering yourself. If you're working on a story, do your best at that story. If you're working on music, do your best at that music. If you're working on art, designs, whatever it is you may be doing, whatever it is that is a passion to you, that you're passionate about, that you're working on, projects, everything. Do your best at it until you feel satisfied, and don't give up. If you don't feel satisfied, it's a project. Work at it until you do feel satisfied. You don't have to do everything in one day. You don't have to do everything in one shot. You can do piece by piece. You can split it up. You can portion it. You can do things. Say, I'm going to do this one day. Then the next day, the next week, or however you want to do it. But don't procrastinate. Be consistent in what you do. But this is not me telling you what to do. This is me trying to give tips, advice if I can, even though I'm not really the best person to take advice from. But this is just my attempt at something that I'm at least attempting to do myself that could possibly work better for you than it does for me or anybody else in the world, however things may go. But this is me just throwing it in the air. You can catch it, you can let it pass you, you can dodge it, you can do whatever it is that you want to do with it. I just hope that whenever this is heard, seen, read, however it comes to you as this message, that instead of taking wrong from it, I hope that you can gain some positivity, some good from it. So I'm just more acknowledging to the fact that I'm not the only one in the world who may deal with things the way that I deal with them, or have things going on that I feel like, it's people across the world deal with way worse. People across the world who deal with the same or deal with way less. But I don't judge. I lend no opinions. I'm open arms, love, positivity to everybody. Protect yourself at all times. Protect your family. Protect your land. Protect your home. Protect your mind. Protect your heart. Protect your soul. Protect your body. Build it up. Build it up to the point where it's reinforced to the point of impenetrability. And let nothing shoot armor piercing bullets, armor piercing arrows, armor piercing missiles through your soul, your heart, your body, your mind. Because in this world, it's real easy to do that, and the weak don't last long. I'm sorry to say it that way, but the reality of it all is the people who may be strong in one way and weak in another could easily lose themselves and take themselves out because we are our own worst enemy. So you have to build up a moral strength from within. From everything that you feel weak in, you have to build that. Don't don't mess your mental up by thinking low or dark of yourself or around or having expectancies and taking everything personal, because these are things that I suffer with myself. I'm not perfect, but I'm working at it. I'm not giving up completely. Even when I may be angry, I may be depressed, I may be sad, I may be feeling a whole bunch of things that I don't know how to control at that right at that moment. But I'm making an attempt every step of the way. I haven't given up to the point where I said, you know what? Life is stressful. I don't want to deal with the pain that tomorrow brings me. Bah! Sorry to be vulgar, sorry to be blunt, sorry to be. But in reality, how many suicides do we have in the world? Not even just USA, but the world. How many copicides are there? How many ways are there to die? How many people choose those ways to die when they really didn't have to, but they may have been so weak mentally, spiritually, wherever they were, that made them feel to make those decisions in life? Which I pray for y'all. I love y'all, and I want y'all to never take those routes. I don't want you to die. I don't want to die myself. At times I feel like I may want to, but the reality of it is I can't do that. Not to my family. I can't give up. I have to go as hard as I can, as long as I can, until I can't go no more. And I by the end of the night, I'm going to pray for the strength of the world to gain the same willpower, to have that courage, to have that strength, to have that serenity, the wisdom, to know differences between what is what, because sometimes we can't tell the difference between salt and sugar because it look the same. But that's just me being real about it for you. I don't want you to give up. I don't want to give up myself. At times I feel like I want to. I know at times you may feel like you want to whoever it is that hears this message, sees it, reads it, however a message comes to you. I just hope that you take positivity from what I say. Don't let negative anything, remarks, actions, anything that goes against you, who you are as a person, a character to the world, to whoever it is, in music, fashion, political, any type of way, spiritual, any type of thing where you feel like something is going against you. Do not let it define you as a person. That does not define who you are. You, your actions, your everything about you, your purpose, your reasons, your worth, that defines you. Not what somebody says about you, not what somebody does to you, not what somebody feels about you. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. Somebody can call you a piece of shit, pardon my French, or somebody can call you a scumbag. Somebody can call you whatever it is to make you feel down. a fiend, a drug addict, whatever it is. It doesn't define who you are if you know who you are. And if you know who you are, nothing anybody in the world, just that anybody in the world says, other than you yourself, should make you feel any less of a person than you are, because you are not below, nor are you higher than, but equal to every person that walks this earth. God made us all in his image. He didn't make us, oh, you're going to be a god, you're going to be a demon, you're going to be an angel, you're going to be an animal. If you're what you are, if you perceive, if you are open-minded, if you're willing, if you are acknowledgeable to the differences, if you have the wisdom to pray for the serenity, if you even have the willpower to pray to God for forgiveness and repent for your sins, that's enough to say that, hey, beforehand, afterhand, duringhand, you're worth God's love. You're worth love, period. You are not worthless. You have worth. Don't downplay yourself. Don't let what the world makes you feel like turn you into what the world thinks you are, because that's very easy to do. The world may paint you as a monster. The world may paint you as a Satan worshiper. It may paint you as a drug dealer. It may paint you as everything negative about what the world has to look at you and say. But that doesn't determine who you are. You, your actions, the way you carry yourselves, the way you speak, the way you breathe your air, the way that you handle. I'm sorry, a bug just said buzz in my ear. I apologize. Back to the words. So, what you do, period, and everything that you do, period, determines and defines it. So if you don't want to live in the dark, if you don't want to live in a sinful nature, if you don't want to live in a life of evil or wickedness, you have the power to change that. Not anybody who talks about you. That's somebody else living in their other life or their own lives, judging you, landing opinion on you, trying to kill who you are as a person. Don't let it break you. Don't fold under pressure. Stand solid as a freaking rock. Mentally, spiritually, in your heart and your body. Don't kill yourself off. Don't commit suicide in any form of way. Yeah, you might be like me. Sometimes I hurt, but I only do that to say I'm here today. I'm still standing. I fought through my dark times the best way I could. It may not be smiled upon, but it would have been way better than me just taking the easy way out completely with no answers, no anything left to give. I'm acknowledgeable that the world is the way it is. And we all are not perfect. The world isn't perfect itself. In a way it is, because our Creator created it. Our Father God created it. But that does not mean you have to live how you feel. You don't have to let things bring you down. You don't have to live in a life of evil or sin or wicked ways because you may feel like you ain't got no options left or nobody gave you an option, so this is what you had to do to survive. I understand that. But before you choose the wrong way, try the right way. Don't knock it till you try it, they say. It's a lot of things people say. It's a lot of things they say, you know? So it's like, you know, the world is what it is. They say time heals. Time kills as well. They say love basically makes you stronger, but it can also kill and weaken you. It can take you away. It could bring, just as well as it could bring you in, it can take you away. So last one with that. I hope this is like a fresh glass of milk with an Oreo cookie on the side or something. But let's get to the last one. Stay close to God. Don't live wicked or evil. Live just and upright as best as you can, and live in the light in the darkness, and always pray to God for forgiveness. Even if you feel like you don't need it, still do it and pray for others. What I personally like to do recently is, instead of pray for myself first, I pray for others. I pray for the world first, and then I get to myself last. But I say it all sincerely and genuinely from my heart, because that means that it's real, rather than to fabricate it or make it glitz and glory and all of that. It's when it comes from the heart, instead of just, I think this is a good thing to say. If it comes from here, it's going to automatically come from here. So you don't need to think. Just use that, because that makes it all sincere, genuine, and God Himself placed it there